in Amish country on our journey through the heartland of Pennsylvania. We are in what I would call southeast Pennsylvania, which is heavily influenced by the culture of Philadelphia, but there are many independent cities, each with their own fascinating culture of their own. Today we are stopping by the city of Reading. Now originally, I wanted to go to Reading because whenever I'm playing Monopoly, I hear of the Reading Railroad. And when you think about the places on Monopoly, well, they have history as well. They're not just made up names. And so the Reading Railroad takes its name from the city of Reading. It was once a giant railroad that connected Philadelphia and Reading, among other places, and it really let the city develop. This city has really seen better days. It's one of a few cities I know of that are very gritty and have lost its former glory. As you could probably tell from the sights we're seeing as we're walking around the streets, this place has a very industrial charm. A lot of the buildings were made in the 20s, 30s, 40s, in the heyday of the city. So that's why you see a lot of architecture in the Art Deco design. I don't know if you all could tell, but through this trip through Pennsylvania, I've developed a bit of a sunburn right here and right here, but all in the spirit of adventure. It is totally worth it to get a sunburn, to experience these very fun places. So, I'm not sure if you can see that little structure right on top of that hill. I think it's best we save that for the end of the video. I have a feeling you all will really like it. The railroad, an iconic aspect of Reading, Pennsylvania's past. Not really so much in the modern day today, but it's nice to see sort of a relic of its past. Even though the railroad itself looks kind of new. These shiny metal bars. Who knows? If someone knows where this leads to, I would love that. You know, I'm not sure, is the Reading Railroad still a thing? Is it still functional in lesser degrees than what it once was in its heyday? Or is it completely defunct now? Something I've noticed about the downtown area of Reading is that there are a lot of churches with these tall spires going stories and stories. One of the great things about walking in a city is that when you're tired and need to take a little bit of a rest from walking around before you start walking again, there are all these little alcoves where you can take a seat until you're ready to start walking again. We've explored a bit of the downtown. Now let's see a little bit more of the places known in the Reading area. Being that Reading is the 5th most populous city in Pennsylvania, there's surely a lot to see, not just in downtown, but in the surrounding neighborhoods and towns. To be realistic for a little bit, Reading is not really the most tourist-friendly city. There are some things to do, especially in the city center, but it's not exactly catered to tourists. There is a bit of a poverty issue. There are some sketchy areas, but if you're wise and have common sense, you can get around fine, just like I am doing right now. Nevertheless, My channel is not for all these tourist places. My channel is for those who feel adventurous, to go to the places which are not in the spotlight. So if you are feeling adventurous, come down to Reading. Especially if you are interested in seeing the gritty history. It definitely has an industrial flair to it, so I do appreciate that about Reading. Something's going on with this railroad. My goodness, was I glad that place was open. What an amazing market that place is in Reading, Pennsylvania, of all places. You could see all these different shops open with different foods from around the world. You had still Amish shops. I thought we were done with Amish country, but apparently they had some great shops open. As we're now a little bit closer to Philadelphia, you have a little bit more of the Philadelphia flair. You had Italian and Greek stands with amazing Mediterranean food. You even had Asian stands with Asian food. It was this beautiful agglomeration of all these different cultures which comprise the state of Pennsylvania. And if you've seen my Lancaster video, you would know what whoopie pie is. And if you can believe it, I bought 2 more of these. Welcome to the last part of the video, and as I said earlier, I saved the best for last. Trust me on that. You will see in a minute. So we're about at the highest, or one of the highest points of the Reading area. As you can tell, I am not kidding. We are high above everywhere else in the Reading area. But this isn't even the best part. About 100 years ago, someone tried to build a pagoda-themed restaurant. Now, the restaurant failed, but the pagoda still stands today. Now take a look at this. Unbelievable. On your drive through Pennsylvania, you do not want to miss this. It's simply breathtaking. And where in Pennsylvania are you going to find a pagoda? One of those little wooden posts that you'd find in other places in Japan. And, well, this looks pretty stellar. It's definitely a lot more shady here, which I like on this sunny day. What a wonder it is that this was built, because now anyone visiting Reading can really admire and bask in the great view that is the great skyline of Reading, Pennsylvania. Walking along the outer perimeter of this great pagoda overlooking a picturesque view of Reading, Pennsylvania. More travels to come. I will see you at the next location.